Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Deadlockathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in Valve's not so secret game Deadlock, from alphabetical order from Abrams all the way up to Yamato, who is currently the last character alphabetically. I go over their lore, personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their design. And with that said, I would like to talk about a character that I don't really know how I feel about. A character that looks to be interesting, has a lot of potential, but I feel like a lack of voice lines and a lack of further expansion upon the potential there is kind of holding her back. That being none other than the lovely Catwoman known as Calico. Now, as I do in all of these videos, I would like to start by reading off her in-game background, which you can view yourself if you go onto the, character selection menu and click on the little book icon in the bottom right-hand corner. But her background reads as such. Once a decorated member of the Baxter Society, Calico left the August Order once she realised that killing monsters for free was less profitable than killing people for money. Now an in-demand contract killer, Calico is living her best life, ending someone else's. That's it. That's actually all the background she has, which is really disappointing because I wish she had more to say. And for those that are unaware or may not know, the Baxter Society is a group of people who hunt monsters and try to keep some sort of peace amongst the world by, getting rid of scary monsters and shit. Calico left that group and is now, just killing people for money, which is, sure, you do you, girl, I'm not going to judge you. Some other tidbits about her is that she has a son, making her a mother. No shit. Duh, that's what happens when you have a son. She has knowledge on the deep, which is a sort of... we'll discuss the deep when we get to Viscous. Actually, I don't even know what the deep is. I'm going to pull that up right now. The deep is an underwater location within the depths of the Bermuda Triangle. It is connected to outer planes via an astral gate. I'm sure that makes sense to at least some of you listening to this video. Does it make much sense to me, besides the whole segment of the world? You know what I mean, like underwater segment cut off from the rest of the world? No, it doesn't really make much sense. She also has knowledge on the Troubadour, which is some monster that Holiday, another character in the game, is chasing, and Oathkeeper, which is the thing that is on Lady Geist's hand. That's her weird green hand. Or is it the lock? I think it's the lock around her green arm. She has also been called in the past the most dangerous person on the planet, and is a target of the Scotland Yard and the OSIC, a organisation that Hayes is a part of. So she has a bunch of little tidbits about her, and one more important piece I do need to mention is that for those who know of Pocket and their lore, in Pocket's lore, they were killed by someone, but managed to live that sort of assassination attempt. The person that tried to assassinate them was Calico. Calico tried or was hired to kill Pocket and only failed to because Pocket survived because the bullet missed their heart by like 2 inches. There is actually voice lines between the two of them, however, unfortunately they aren't voiced on Calico's end. On the wiki it has, Pocket's lines written, but it doesn't have Calico's. Like, for example, Pocket says, "You tried to kill me." Calico says something in return, and Pocket replies with, "The hell you didn't, a 1/4 inch to the right, and the bullet would have been square in my heart." That's probably, it's kind of, when I mentioned literally like a few minutes ago that I'm kind of upset with the potential missing here, I do think it's because a lot of her voice lines just aren't really in the game. She has multiple interactions with other characters listed on the wiki, but none of hers are actually voiced yet, so they're not actually in the game. She has interactions with the Doorman, she has interactions with Mirage and Pocket, and none of them are voiced on Calico's end, which is upsetting because I feel like those voice lines could help to say someone like myself becoming more interested in her. Because all things considered, she's a character that I just don't really feel anything for personality-wise. A lot of her quotes are kind of in a stuck-up sense. She speaks very, personality-wise, she's very stuck-up. She does think she is better than everyone else. She has some voice lines between her and Viper where she says that she's kind of like better than you. Like Viper says, "Come on, we're a couple of tough broads who kill people for money." And Calico replies with, "I kill people for money. You kill people for a pack of cigarettes and a hot meal. We are not the same." Viper responds with that she's sounding a little classist, and then Calico responds with, "Oh, I'm sounding a lot classist because I'm nothing like you." Which, I mean, most people kind of talk to Viper in that way because she is kind of a bum. No offense to the lovely girl failure, but she is a bit of a bum. But Calico is just kind of, I don't know, there's something missing. I don't know what it is about Calico that I can't really, like, click with. It's something about her personality. I don't know, it feels like there's something missing. Like, a lot of other characters, like, they just have really likable personalities just immediately. Even the people that are intentionally trying to be arseholes, I like. But Calico's just kind of boring? I don't want to call her boring, but she just kind of feels boring. Not in a gameplay front, because we'll get to her gameplay later. I really enjoy playing as her. But like personality-wise and interaction-wise, although she doesn't really have many, as I said, she just feels kind of boring. And I'm not really sure why I feel that way. I will give her props though. The few voice interactions that she does have as of current are very lovely. That's not a real word. They're very well voice acted by. You're gonna have to give me a moment. I am a white man. I'm not very good at pronouncing, you know, foreign names. But Tox Olagundoi, who I don't really know from anything besides the fact that she is Mel from Arcane and technically League of Legends as well, because the champion Mel is in League. She has been for a while now. But yeah. I like Mel in League of Legends. I thought her voice performance as Mel was absolutely fantastic, and there's no difference here. Calico is very, very well voice acted by Tox, and like, I like Calico's voice. I really do. I like her voice acting. I just think personality-wise, she's a bit boring, but I don't like saying that because I don't know. I feel very confused when it comes to Calico. I don't know. I like her gameplay, but personality-wise, she doesn't really do it for me, and it's like one of them weird, sort of unexplainable, like it just doesn't click with me. I'm not sure what that might be for, or why that might be, but yeah, it just does not click with me. But I do think she is good. Like, don't get me wrong, I think she's very well voice acted, and I do like her. Like, I like Calico, I like playing as her, I just don't really find her personality very interesting. I'm just repeating myself now. You understand what point I'm trying to make. I find her a bit boring, but I'm not really sure why I find her a bit boring. But anyways, with that said, now we have discussed her very short lore. That does kind of hurt her a little bit, that she doesn't really have much lore to go off of. But hey ho, this is a work in progress game. Of course, at a later date, she may receive a bunch of lore that maybe changes my mind and all of that sort of lovely stuff. But anyways, with her lore and personality discussed, I would like to move on to her gameplay. Please do keep in mind that when I talk about gameplay, I am going to be showcasing or like recording both my footage and audio at the same time in OBS. So if I sound a bit different when I, do the transition over to that, I do apologize. But with that said, we move on to her gameplay. Right. So here we are in the ever so lovely sandbox mode, which has been an enormous help for me to show gameplay and talk about it at the same time. And before I can begin talking about her abilities, etc, etc, the first thing I need to talk about is her weapon of choice, that being the Sweetest Lie, which plays into my this gun, right? It kind of plays into what I said earlier, where I wish we knew more about Calico. Because why has she got a prosthetic arm that's also a shotgun? Anyone know? Because I don't. I have no idea why she has a prosthetic arm that's a shotgun. But yes, her weapon of choice is, again, a prosthetic arm that is also a shotgun. And it has, it's a shotgun. It's like a... What do you want me to say? It's a shotgun. Like, it is a shotgun. It's a shotgun. It does really good damage close up, which plays well into the rest of her gameplay. It has, surprisingly not bad range, all things considered. Like, considering, it's a shotgun, spread ain't too bad for, like, a long-range weapon. It's also quite good in, of course, when fighting in lane for securing souls. Because of the spread, you've got more pellets that have a better chance of hitting the souls that come out of the little minions. But yeah, her weapon is surprisingly good. Or I say surprisingly. No, it is good. It's a good weapon. And it plays well and fits well with the rest of her sort of kit and the ways that you would build her. But speaking of her abilities, the first one is known as the Gloom Bombs, which has a description reading as such. Throw a cluster of bombs that detonate after a delay, dealing spirit damage. Enemies hit by multiple bombs take 50% damage. It has at level 1, it has 4 bombs, it does 55 damage per bomb, and it has a 10-second cooldown, and looks like this. So she kind of like, this is the 4th video in a row where I forgot to turn on no cooldowns. Trust me, guys, these videos are very well structured. But as you can see, she kind of like flicks her wrist and throws out 4 bombs in kind of a random pattern, which annoys me a little that they come out kind of randomly. I wish they were a bit more structured. Ironic I'm saying that after what just happened. Because it's kind of hard to like predict, like as you can see, sometimes it's completely straight in a sort of horizontal line. That one was kind of a diagonal line. That one was more vertical. Like it makes it hard to use the bombs from a distance because of the directions they could go in. Like that time I got 3 bombs. That time I got 2. That time I only got 1. It is genuinely meant to be used like as close as you can possibly get, which again is obviously what the shotgun arm is for, and it's meant to help her get... She's a very up close and personal character. She's a bit of a bruiser, but with not like Abrams kind of bruiser where you kind of just tank everything. I mean, you can just tank everything, but she's a bit more like hop in and out of the fight and, you know, like do a lot of burst damage quickly as possible. But anyways, speaking still of the Gloom Bombs, its first upgrade reduces the cooldown to 7 seconds, its second upgrade increases the damage to 73, and its third upgrade increases the bomb count to 6. But that extra bomb still doesn't prevent it from being a relatively random sort of pattern when you throw them. Like, look, 6 bombs and I still only hit 1 of them. But if I get up close and personal, lots of damage. She can do a lot of damage with those bombs if she's, like, super close. But anyways, we move on to her second ability called the Leaping Slash. Dash forward before slashing all enemies in a circle, dealing melee damage. If this ability hits at least one hero, heal a small amount of health. It does 82 melee damage at base, heals for 40 at base, has a 9 meter dash range, a 4.5 meter slash radius, and an 11-second cooldown. And it looks like this. Now, I want to say, the circle is a bit deceiving. So as you can see here, when I dash forward and they're sort of in front of me, they get hurt by it. But if I go like that, as you can see, they are quite clearly in the circle, right? Like, they are in the circle behind me. But sometimes you will just not hit them, which is not great. Like, it feels a bit awkward to use. This is one of her bread and butter abilities. Like, seriously, some of the builds that I've used are entirely dedicated to that one ability and how much damage it can put out. But its hitbox is a bit awkward. It isn't like being in the circle. It's sort of, there's like a, so say like Calico, this is Calico, right? Calico in the middle. The actual hitbox is a circle around you, but then there's a gap between you and the hitbox. That's what it feels like this ability has. But even then, I say that, but look how close I am to him there, and then it hits. If I were to dash like that, it doesn't hit him from behind. Like, it says all enemies in a circle, not a half circle, not like, I don't know, 270 degrees. Like, it should hit him, but for some reason, in certain angles, it just won't. It's a weirdly inconsistent ability that kind of gets on my nerves a bit. Because sometimes I'll feel like, oh wow, I should have hit that, but I just don't. But it's a very good ability when it works, or if it feels like working, at least. Because it allows you to obviously do quite a lot of damage. As you noticed, it scales with your melee damage, which melee damage scales with your gun damage, so you can see where I'm going with that. And yeah, it's a good ability and it'll help you keep yourself alive in team fights, but it's just got a weird, awkward hitbox. But anyways, with that said, its first upgrade increases the heal amount by 25, bringing it to 65. Its second upgrade increases its damage by 55, bringing it to 137 at base. And on its third ability, or third upgrade, on hero hit, you get 50% of your cooldown back, making it so the cooldown for it should only be, wait, I can do maths, trust me, 5.5 seconds, which is shockingly short for an ability that can do some serious damage later on. Like, I'll equip some items in a minute, just to show how she can feel at a later stage in the game, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, before we can do that, move on to her third ability, called Ava, which, for those that don't know, is the cat on her shoulder, which, by the way, again, it's another thing that's not really explained. Like, what is this cat's deal? Why does it sit on her shoulder at all times? Why is it in the lobby before you actually get into a game? Like, why is it in the hideout? I don't know what this cat's deal is. Is it magical? I don't know. I know nothing about this cat besides its name, and that it's got a few statues around the map of it. But anyways, the description of the ability reads as such. Turn to shadows and possess Ava. You gain bonus move speed and become hidden on the minimap, but cannot use your weapon or cast abilities. You can press Q, which is the melee input, to pounce and break boxes. When taking damage from an enemy hero, bonus move speed is reduced by 65%, and you are unable to activate Ava for 6 seconds. And of course, as it said, or as it says, you get 65% bonus move speed when possessing Ava, and you are able to possess Ava for 14 seconds at base. It also has a 45-second cooldown at base. And it looks as such.
Let's go for a walk, Ava.
Ta-da! You turn into a cat, and you can run around and be a cat. You can't dash or slide. You can kind of just move around, run around as the cat, and pounce on boxes to get, like, stuff from it. You should be able to do... Can you do damage as Ava? No. You can just use it only to break boxes and the golden thingy-majigs. But yeah, this is how, like, Calico kind of gets around the map. She's quite a good roamer. Like, for those that don't understand what that term means, it's when instead of, like, you know, doing the objective and pushing towers and stuff, you'll roam around the map and, like, take out the thingy camps, you know, these little fellas. You'll just kill them around the map. She's very good at roaming. There's a few other characters that are good at that, but she's, like, one of the best, mostly because of Ava. Because if she's away from an objective and, like, you know, killing minions and gathering souls and such, say someone starts targeting a walker or a tower, you can use Ava and get to a point, like, really quickly. She's got very good map traversability, and Ava is a key part in that fact, because you are obviously way faster when playing as Ava, and more importantly, you are invisible on the minimap, meaning that enemies won't know you're actually coming until you're already on top of them. So yeah, Calico is a very good roamer, but she obviously can be quite a good, you know, like, normal character. Roamers are kind of a specific archetype of character. Some other roamers I can think of off the top of my head is someone like Lash. Lash is really damn good at roaming because he has really good mobility. Like, what a character needs for, like, to be a good roamer is to have good mobility and or the ability to just isolate a target and kill them just super easily. Like, as of recent, Drifter has shown up to be a very good roamer because he literally gets huge benefits off of killing other isolated targets. Like, he doesn't really have very good movement, but he can take out a target very quickly and get himself, you know, permanent boosts and the such. Calico falls into the same category. She can do a lot of damage to the minions with gloom bombs and the leaping slash, but she also has good map traversability through Ava. But moving on from roamers and the such, the first upgrade to Ava increases the buff duration, so how long you can play as Ava, to 28 seconds. The second upgrade increases the move speed to 110 seconds, and the third upgrade grants you extra health regen whilst playing as Ava, and it reduces the cooldown to 30 seconds, which of course will help you use Ava in a different way, which is to get out of fights. Ava can obviously be used in that fashion and is very good at being used in that fashion. But as you can see, that extra move speed, yeah, you understand, like, look how long this is lasting. Like, you can understand why I consider Calico such a good roamer. And I do enjoy playing as her, as I mentioned earlier. And Ava is a part to that. I do like the very high traversability you get just, like, running around the map. Like, seriously. Look, I've been running for 28 seconds. Like, that's ridiculous how much time you get to play as the cat and just keep going. But anyways, moving on to her final ability, that being Return to Shadows. Instantly turn to shadows, becoming untargetable, meaning you can't be shot or damaged in any way, shape or form. Gain bonus move speed and deal spirit damage in an area around you. I know it doesn't actually say that on the description, but that's what it does. After a delay, return from the shadows, dealing spirit damage again. It does 140 damage at base, grants you 30% extra move speed, and it has a 3-second explosion delay, so before the second explosion. It also has a 109-second cooldown? Why 109? That's such an awkward number. Why not just do 110? Okay, whatever. Anyways, the actual ability looks like this. So you turn into a sort of ghostly, dark form of her. You do damage on the initial instance, and then you slowly return to shadows, and you have like the area around you to show where the second explosion will be. And then, you know, you explode and do damage. It's a pretty simple ability. It's very good at securing kills. So say an enemy is low, you can literally just like dash up to them and just explode and follow them and then explode again. It's very good at securing kills, especially if you stack in or go into spirit, because obviously it will do a lot of spirit damage. No shit. That's what the word means. Its first upgrade makes it so its cooldown is reduced to 84 seconds, which is again an awkward ass number. Its second upgrade increases its damage by 75 and grants you an extra 20% move speed, bringing damage to 215 and granting you 50% extra move speed. And on its final upgrade, you refund all of your cooldowns and gain 24% damage for 5 seconds, allowing you to, you know, like, you spam all your shit, blah blah blah, explode, and then you get to come out of it and immediately go back to doing damage. Right. Makes sense. And that's her kit as a whole. It's very good, as I said, for roaming and, you know, killing minions and stuff like that. But she can be a real bruiser. Like, if, as I've said, like, here's a build that I use, right? I love cat girls. Funny. I giggled at that. But as you can see here, this is a very complex build. There is a lot of shit here, and there's a lot of situational shit here. But you can kind of go in 3 different paths. You can go for a weapons build. So, you know, melee, just literally stacking melee upon melee. Or you can go a tanky build, which is something that Calico can surprisingly do. Or you could go a spirit build. Like, she is able to just kind of go down the 3 paths. Like, most characters, they kind of get locked into 1 or 2 different builds. Like, you're never going to see a Spirit Abrams. I said that in Abrams's video, but you're never going to see a Spirit Abrams. And, like, just as another example, you can do it, but you're probably never going to see a gun-based page build. Like, in all honesty, you're probably never ever going to see it. But Calico can kind of do all of them. Like, she can be a tank, she can be a damage dealer in both gun and spirit. She's very adaptable to whatever sort of scenario you put her in. Like, if I just very quickly buy, you know, I don't know, just a bunch of random stuff, you know, all these late game items, blah blah blah. I give myself the extra slots as well. Just buy all this stuff, you know. Like, this isn't a perfect build in any way, shape, or form. I've kind of just picked everything near the late game section, mostly in the gun area. But, like, she can do some serious damage. Like, she can do a lot. Like, most characters are going to struggle against Calico. And the thing is, because she's relatively, like, slim, like, with Abrams, right? He's a tank, he's a juggernaut, blah, blah, blah. But he has quite a large model, right? You can see that. He's quite square, quite tall, has quite a large model. Whereas someone like Calico is skinny. She's got a skinny model. She's quite small in terms of, like, actual hitbox, which makes her even harder to kill, especially if you go down the juggernaut route. So yeah, I like Calico gameplay-wise a lot. I really like how adaptable she is and how many different, like, options she has. You can build her in multiple different ways. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the build browser is really helpful for this sort of stuff. Like, there's a Spirit Assassin build. There's this person's build of just kind of a melee bruiser stuff. Like, there's a lot. She's mostly a burst DPS, but you can play her in other ways and do well, which is obviously, you know, good for variety's sake. But yeah, I think that's most of her gameplay discussed. And with that, we're going to very smoothly transition into judging her design, because thankfully in the practice range I'm able to spawn in bots which allow me to kind of get like a 360 view of the actual designs. Now, as a design, and please do keep in mind, everything's a work in progress. I wouldn't be surprised if Calico at a later date gets her design changed. She's one of the few that I feel like probably needs it. There's a few other characters who I believe need their designs changed, not prioritized per se. I know Viscus is getting one soon, and I don't really know how I feel about it. Well, okay, he's not getting one soon, or it's not getting one soon. We got one leaked, and it does look funny. I just think I'm gonna miss the very simple goo man. But I'm getting off topic. Calico's actual design is, of course, work in progress. Do keep in mind it could change at a later date, but that's what these videos are, a time capsule, blah, blah, blah. I like Calico's design. I think it looks quite good. The purple coloration is like purple and gold is a nice color combo. It's royalty and it shows her sort of upper class feel that she has in a lot of her interactions that I mentioned, how she acts like she is better than you. Like, as I mentioned, the Viper interaction where she admits to being classist. Like the purple and gold color scheme, along with that sort of royal red on the back of her, would you call it suit jacket? Yeah, suit jacket, is very royal. It's very fancy colors, and it really works on her. But otherwise, her design is quite clearly work in progress. A lot of her clothes are kind of missing details outside of, you know, like the actual suit jacket. Like you can see there's like intricate sort of, not engravings. Yeah, what word am I looking for? You know what word I'm looking for. You know when like suits have like patterns sort of emboldened onto the, you know, engravings, but the clothing cloth term for it. You get what I mean. I will admit though, I am not really fond of the different purple on the shoes and like on like the heels and glove. I think those purples are like too bright. I feel like they contrast a little too much with the rest of the purples on her outfit. I'm not really sure why I don't like them, but I don't know, they just look a bit flatly coloured. But then again, as I said, work in progress. She's lacking details on her trousers, at least I think she is. The robotic arm, even though I have no idea where or why she has it, she does have it. It looks fine, but again, it kind of sticks out. It doesn't really fit the rest of her design. I would personally, going off everything else like the suit jacket, the fancy clothes, I would expect the robotic arm or the prosthetic to look more, you know, extravagant, maybe be gold and have engravings on it to fit further with, like, say, her gold thingy glasses. What is the word of the glasses holder? Like, what the thing, not lens is the glass bit. What is the gold bit? I don't know. Like, she's obviously got a gold piece in her hair that holds up the bun. She has golden earrings. She has golden bits on the glasses. Like, I would expect the arm to be golden as well, but of course, work in progress, blah, blah, blah. And speaking of Ava, I like Ava. I like Ava a lot. I think Ava's really cute. I'm one of the few people probably in the world that likes sphinxes, or naked cats as they're called. I think she, is Ava a man or a woman? No answer. They. We'll go with they. I like Ava. They're really cool. It's a naked cat. It's cute. I think it looks cute. It also has glowing yellow eyes for some reason. I don't know what Ava's deal is. They just kind of sit on Calico's shoulder for the fun of it. But yeah, I like Calico's design, but it's quite clearly work in progress, as is the rest of this game. And I do wish she had a bit more, like, gold on her. Like, maybe change the heels to gold. Maybe change the glove to be that dark red that's on the back of her sort of coat. Like, I feel like getting rid of this sort of bright purple would do her good. Maybe the heels could be red, actually. That'd be a fair shout. Because then you would have a nice color combination of purple, gold, and red, which does look really nice. But yeah, Calico's a weird one. I like her gameplay a lot. I think her design has a lot of potential. I just don't really know how to feel about her story and personality. There isn't much to go off of, which upsets me. I wish there was more. But that's how I feel about a lot with Deadlock. I wish this game was, like, fully fledged already. I want more Deadlock. I am Peter Griffin, kicking his TV, shouting, "I want it now!" But yeah, this is the end of the video, by the way. I've said all I need to say about Calico and the such. I think she's neat, but I do wish we had more. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video. Usually I drop the titles in the middle of the video in some way, shape, or form, but I have no idea what I'm going to title this one. I just don't know how I feel about her. I like her gameplay. I like her design, even though it's obviously work in progress, but her story and lore definitely needs some more work, and I want to know more about her. But that is probably a good sign. She has enough here that I want to know more. I want to have more about, or learn more about Calico, which is, you know, a sign that a character has potential, and it is probably going to be good. But yeah, I like Calico, fine enough. Just wish we had more of her. Simple as that. I hope if you've enjoyed this video and made it this far, like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. If you wish to play Deadlock, I will throw my I've probably already thrown my Steam name up on the screen already, because I forgot to mention it in the intro, and I'm only now realizing that. But yeah, I'll throw my Steam name up on the screen in the intro. You've probably already seen it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether that be a good morning, evening, afternoon, etc. And the next character in this lovely series is a new personal favorite of mine. One of my favorite characters in any hero shooter in a very long time. That being the ever elusive, ever mysterious Doorman.